Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you, I guess, a little late. Here's what happened. The UFC website said they're going to start at 3. So we said, okay. Before I know it, Dana White's putting up a note that says, fight start now. And that was at 2 p.m. West Coast time. So I beg to you guys, first of all, don't blame us. Blame them. Second of all, sorry. Third of all, I don't really think you're that bugged by it because we're still here for a long time. The person I feel baddest for in this moment, if I can feel bad for anybody, is our normal betting guy, Dan Hubler, who sends me a note that says, oh shit, they started, which, yes, they did. Now, does Dan have somebody that is already gone? I haven't looked yet. We're going to do that all together. This, kids, is known as just doing it live. It has been pronounced many a times by people as crazy as Bill O'Reilly, who famously yelled out, fuck it, we'll do it live. That's kind of where we're at today. So anyways, we are going to be looking for Dan joining us probably in a little bit. I think he's getting his life together. But yes, we will be watching along. They just finished a fight right now. And I believe, let's find out if they're going to do a post-fight interview in the octagon. It's not looking good when they go dark, so I believe that is a firm no. Some house rules to go over. First and foremost, we want to give some love to our sponsor, Nogi BJJ Gear. Thank you so much for all the love that you give us. And if you guys would like to support us, them, and the show all in one, it's very simple. Go to nogibjjgear.com, use the promotional code GRAPPLINGHOUR15, and you will save 15% off of whatever you put in the cart. We also want to give love to our friends over at Dodgy Collective, who are amazing. They have some great rash guards. If you haven't checked them out, do so right now. All right, back to the action at hand. So earlier today, I was talking to somebody and they said, are there fights tonight? And they seemed a little bored. And then I read a little bit later in the card and they seemed way more jazzed about it. So it is interesting if you probably feel like this isn't going to be a massively showcase kind of card, but there are some things to note. And I'm going to look at Dan's notes here that he sent me earlier just to make sure where we are in terms of where he is saying, okay, parlay. He's got a parlay for us tonight. Interesting. And then he's also got, they haven't gone, but they're about to go right now. So Ali Akwisi, he's a plus 150. So you need to get that bet in right now if you're going to go there. Plus, right after that, there's 2 more fights. Then there's Nascimento, Faria, and Tom Breeze. So this is all happening in the prelims, which begs the question, do you have time to bet? Yes, just enough time right now as they are transitioning to that in just a few seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up so that you can see what Dan is trying to make you do so that we're not pulling any tricks. You know for sure when you see his picks and he comes on here and he explains himself that he is able to tell you with some strong language that he was able to make you guys win some money. And really, that's what we're trying to do here. I mean, aside from the drinking beer and the roasting fighters and fans. Here we go. So here's Dan's betting suggestions for this week. He was saying to parlay on all 3. So if you are going to put that one in, that means, guess what? You got to get that in right now. So I would suggest doing that if that is in something you're inclined to do. Because he's saying if you parlay on all 3, you bet 250 to win 10-14. So not bad. I like where he's coming at here. We already have a comment. Christopher James Velez says, yo, Raph. Well, yo, Christopher. Right back at you, sir. But yes, and if you're going to take the solo bet with Ali, that is a plus 150. I would assume sportsbooks might start booking that one at a close very soon, but here is his justification for that if you should need it. And here it says, Kelly dominated in his last fight against Kamika and that he's durable and heavy trade with shots. But Ali is a different type of fight. Kelly struggled with Kamika's takedowns and repeatedly grabbed the fence to stay upright. That is true. And Alkisi's relentless pursuit of take. What's up, Joffrey? Thank you so much for showing up. Appreciate you too as well. So those were suggestions for this fight. Normally I would let him say those things, but we're waiting on him. He's probably doing, he has the mustache still. Yeah, so he's got to comb the mustache. So he's got to get ready. Camera ready is what we like to call that one. So anyway, it says, look at this. Hello, broski. How are you? Soul, saving you soul, bro. With a nice scream mask. It's very Halloween appropriate. Yes, I am well. Thank you very much for the inclination to ask. I'm going to be even better now that I'm going to drink, what is this? Charisma Check, a West Coast IPA. I think I've had this before, but yes, once I drink this, I'm going to be much, much better. Just to let you know, I believe they are already in the cage. So again, not doing all of Dan's dirty work for him, but I hope that you guys put some money down on Alkisi. I would agree. Kai Kamaka actually fought Tony Kelly, and that is the fight that he's referring to. That is the fight that I believe garnered us some attention with Kai, and I believe they got Fight of the Night honors. They were the first fight on UFC 252. Let's just say yes, that's it. And more importantly, some of the notes that he mentioned here with the grabbing of the fence and whatnot are very important. But yes, feel free to throw us questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, all that stuff in the comment section. We address most of them, even the shitty ones from bots or trolls or dummies who think that they're funny. We address them all in there. So here in one hand, it says, love your program, respect for your work. Well, thank you very much. That is kind to say. I appreciate when people say nice things. I don't really know how to take compliments, so I might do a joke here in a second, but I appreciate that. We try to put out very, very fun content for everybody. And yes, we will have more Grappling Hour later this week. They will not be live. Let's make that very clear. Hope you guys know that. These are always live, except when we're late. We're still live now, but yeah, we would have liked to have been starting at the right time. But you know what? They can wait. We only missed what? How many fights there? Like 2? We missed 3 fights. We're okay, because we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights after this. We have a night ahead of us, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The fight begins right now. And you've got Ali in the white trunks or silverish, depending on your grayish, I guess is what you want to call them. They really can't come up with a good name for this weird color that they put in the UFC Reebok camo that they have. Then, of course, you have Kelly in the blue trunks, which is bringing back, I believe, the same that he had on the other night. If you guys haven't checked out our season premiere, go do that after you watch this, of course. But we had a number of very prominent guests, including William Tackett, Cody Steele, Gio Martinez, Aaron Teagues, and Andy Night Varela. Oh, God. There was a kick that was caught into an immediate slam by, it looks like on this side, Ali rightly was able to catch it midair. So good for him. And now, instead of kind of breaking the guard, he's kind of just kneeing the ass with like a running kind of motion with it. So Kelly has not bad attempts at rubber guard, but is definitely one that is not super succinct. I suspect that is in part due to Ali's forward pressure on it, though the arm is trapped if he were to able to transition to a triangle, which he just misses right there. Yikes. Alkisi is now on a guillotine right over here. At least he's working with the front headlock position. He has the ability for a guillotine, but he's not quite jumping on it 100% yet. Maybe he is saving some part of his energy, but he is keeping Kelly in the turtle position and starting to round the corner and oddly continuing the knee to the butt, still from, forward, moving around the body to just knee them right back then and there. You have to say he's nothing if not consistent, or at least driven to continue that kind of attack. So far, if you are listening to Dan, you're not in a bad spot. If you listen to Dan, I highly suggest that you do. Dan usually knows what he is talking about here, friends. So Kelly is kind of shelling up here. This is about a minute's worth of time that he has been stuck in this turtle guard. The referee claps his hands as to suggest maybe some more action here. This is unfortunate for Ali because this is a great position for him, but I would hate to see them do any kind of reset, especially when Kelly himself is not really able to counter out of this. is a tough position, especially when you have somebody who's very good at keeping their weight on you, even as you are able to move around side to side, especially in a place like this. Though Kelly was trying to do a switch here, it's not quite working just yet. Now he started to grab both the 2-on-1, and Alkisi is starting to go ahead and move up higher and higher up to try and get this guillotine. This might be problematic for Kelly. He looks like he is in danger here, and I don't get a great look at it, but Dan Huber is about to join us in just a second, so I got to put on his music, and we will see you guys back here in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We're just doing his branding.
Better have my money. Bitch better have my money. Hey, what you want me? Bitch better have my money.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Dan Hubler. Dan, I tried to do his best job as possible to replicate and kind of give voice to your bullet points on why we should go for Ali on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it so far, kind of so good. I anticipated multiple takedown attempts in that first round, and we have 2 takedowns. I kind of was hoping that he wouldn't take him down straight into triangles both times, but it seems like that's kind of his thing. So, beggars can't be choosers. I think we're still winning the round based on control time. As long as he doesn't get choked out here or get his arm broken, I think we're okay for round 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is always a weird game element because that arm starts to be a little problematic. You can kind of see outside of here. A lot of us who do jiu-jitsu know this is more one of those areas where unless the person is really dominating that arm, you can kind of just stick it out. It's just not pleasant, especially if somebody's going to be elbowing you at the top of the dome. But he's just got to keep his arm a little bit safe. And I think he's signaling to the ref he's not trying to tap here. He's just got to survive for 9 more seconds in this terrible position. And you are seeing Kelly try to hold it. I think he's going to survive for just long enough to get a hammer fist there as we go to the second round.
I'm looking for a live line right now. If the live line is, I think Ali still won that first round. So if I can get a decent line on him in between rounds, I'm taking it. I think that might even play into our favor going into round 2. He might have burned his legs out. Especially really going hard for the finish if he really thought it was in there. Yeah, Ali is still an underdog live, so I'm taking that. He's plus 120 live. So, the live bettors think that he lost that first round. I disagree. It was a close round, but, if you're still getting him plus 120 after round 1, I feel like it's a dummy move not to take that. So I'm taking that live. It's kind of what I thought would happen. I thought there'd be multiple takedowns. There were multiple takedowns. I thought, Ali would probably have the advantages in later rounds. I guess we'll find out how that's going to go. But I thought, he would be pretty relentless with his, attempts to take this to the ground. And it looks like if the fight primarily takes place on the ground, I think Ali's got the advantage there.
All right. And the submission attempts, it does note by Kelly, there was 4, though they all kind of happened in that same slew, that same last burden right there. I still feel like Ali was a little bit more active in when he was trying for that guillotine. He was putting that pressure for the most part. So it's just a little hard. The only thing that's going to be a little problematic is when they look at how he kept that turtle position. That's my only concern. But other than that, I still thought he had the round.
Yeah, I think his guillotine was closer to a finish than that Kelly's armbar was. Some of those guys have the dexterity. I saw him with his arm was fully extended. He's just, shaking his head to the ref like I'm not going to tap. So I think some guys kind of have that ability, but that doesn't apply for chokes. Obviously, what's that old Hickson Gracie quote? You got putting the tough guy to sleep. So I think that guillotine was a lot closer to a finish, and I'm hopefully the judge saw it that way too. But either way, I mean, going into round 2, not knowing for sure who won that first round, taking Ali as the underdog still makes sense. I mean, he proved in the first round he has the ability to end the fight. It could come out of nowhere, and taking that underdog bet is a no-brainer.
I just felt funny because before he was about to fight, I realized, oh, well, I hate to jump ahead here, kids, but I had to immediately go into salesman mode to be like, listen, if you want to get in on this parlay, you got to do it before that fight had taken place. So
well, I had to really quickly change it because I had Cortez as one of my original picks, and she was the second fight, and I thought the fights were starting at 3:00, and I was kind of putting it together at the last minute, and then I realized I couldn't. I was trying to make a bet at the same time, and it said the fight's already started. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I was really pissed about that because I literally looked at last night before I texted you to be like, I'll see you at 3. It says on the website 3. He said, sounds good. To me, then when I see Dana White at 2 p.m. saying, like, can't wait for this first fight to go down, I was thinking, oh, fuck. Well, it doesn't really affect my line of business, but it does affect yours. So we appreciate you for rallying together. But while we're watching the action unfold here, walk us through a little bit of what you've got and kind of the outline of why you've got what you got.
So we kind of already talked about Ali. Move on to the next one for Hea. I think in that fight, he's shown in his last fight against Dontel Mays that he could take a shot. He's very, obviously submission oriented. He's going to be looking for that finish on the ground. I see him probably eating a shot or two, to drag it to where he wants to fight. But I don't see a whole lot of. I don't see a lot of different situations in this fight happening where he's going to be put into real danger. We've seen, in the past, his ability to take things to the ground from the clinch is pretty stellar. Eventually, I think in most heavyweight fights, the fight's going to end up in the clinch at some point. When you're like 250 pounds, at some point you got to stop swinging for a minute, and usually that happens in the clinch. When we see the clinch happen in this fight, I think that's going to play into Fea's big advantages. I think he's going to drag the fight down. I think we're going to see probably a second round submission in that fight. At minus 250, I think those are pretty good odds. But even better odds for Tom Breeze. And, the Tom Breeze odds completely shock me. Minus 225, I don't think it's putting enough respect on his name. His opponent is undefeated. His opponent is also undefeated against mostly regional fighters with losing records. And his opponent's making his UFC debut. Here, Tom Breeze is on his 7th UFC fight. He's fought some of the best in there already. He's a much more proven commodity. Getting him at minus 225 against a debuting fighter who's never fought someone the caliber of Tom Breeze seems a little disrespectful. So I think you got to take that line. At minus 225, those odds are amazing for what you're getting in that fight. I think we could maybe potentially see a late stoppage for Tom Breeze. His submission game is obviously, improved quite a bit. He actually took place in the Nuwaza Europe Nuwaza Challenge. So I think Tom Breeze is definitely, being undervalued in that fight. He should be a significantly bigger favorite, and I think he's going to prove it in this fight. Yeah, you know what stood out the most to me too about his opponent, Buller. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm just going to say Buller. But not so much that he was fighting opponents with losing records. That's one thing. I think a lot of people do that because the record in MMA is very important. You want to, a lot of coaches and management make sure that protecting their fighters' records, they're getting them winnable fights at, Gladiator Challenge or wherever they can get them. That's understandable. But what stood out to me with Buller is that he was fighting people with a losing record while they were on a losing streak. His coaches or whoever his team is didn't even have, the confidence to put him in a matchup against someone who had won recently. I mean, he fought a guy who had lost his last 6 fights in a row, and he was the 7th. So I definitely don't think he's prepared for the experience of someone like Tom Breeze. I think this is going to be a huge reality check. And, if he is successful against Breeze, if he's just as dominant, then, it would be a shock. But right now, I don't think it's very probable.
Come back in here, Dan. Listen, dude, we just got a question that I'd like to field for you. Go ahead and answer this however you feel. Joffrey asks, does Dan like Impa?
I do like Impa. His line was a little bit high, though. I think it was, let me take a look at what the line was. I do love his line. The thing that scares me about that fight is, Sherdog did a really good analysis on that fight as well. And if you read their preview, you can, they do a very good breakdown. But what worries me about Impa is he's not a round winner. He doesn't throw with enough volume to win a round. And so I think, if it's a 3-round stand-up battle, I think, he'll probably land the better shots. I don't know if he'll land enough volume to win the fight. So I'm a little bit concerned betting on that fight because of that. I would like to see him throw with more volume. Right now he's a minus 260. So with the amount of time he's passive in a round, I just can't count on him to win all 3. Buckley, he's that tiny little tank of a man, but he throws, all 15 minutes. Even if you watch his last fight against Holland, he was throwing. Like, he was losing that fight, but he was throwing off, the entire time. So I think Buckley has the type of style that wins rounds, and as a result of that, I'm not comfortable really betting on Impa at minus 260.
Makes complete sense. And I also kind of wanted to just kind of very quickly remind people your lines that you have for the fights that are active. Tom Breeze was negative 255, so that means 750 to win 333. And your other line that you put up was on Faria at negative 250, 750 to win $3. So you also put up that parlay that would involve this fight, but I did like that for 250, I think is what you put on that one, if I remember that correct. Yeah. I was like, 250 for that, I have no issue with at all.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get a 4 times return on your investment is always pretty good. Parlays are never, it's never the probable outcome that a parlay is going to hit. I did hit a 5-fight parlay last weekend, which was nice. But, with the parlay, it's always, I think these 3 guys are going to win. I'm betting on them individually, but I'll also, bet to see what if they all win. So right. That's obviously the smallest bet on the card.
And that's perfectly fine, because at this point, it is a very close fight, and the favor may be leaning back to Kelly just in the way he's performed in this third, but I think things could change quickly with the last half of this round. So
yeah, I think if we could see one more takedown from Ali, I think he could steal it.
I think the hard part is Ali is looking maybe a little bit more discouraged on finding his shot. It's what I'm looking at right now. Though he's still standing upright, movement still looks okay. I think it's hard. Ooh, maybe you heard me talking about him and decided, if Ref doesn't believe
fuck
me,
that guy. I'm going to throw a spinning back fist. Show you how fucking tired I
am. We've come to the point where spinning back shit is being thrown. And you know what? I feel like if I played some role in encouraging that, it was all for worth it. So, for those of you who are just joining us right now, Nascimento Faria at negative 250. Look that up. Dan is suggesting 750 to win $3. Tom Breeze as well. Dan feels that, hey, man, we're not putting enough respect on his name. Oh, nut shot. Rest. Yes. Take these.
Yeah,
these
I would take all 5 minutes. He's tired. Take the whole 5. Come out there, shoot an aggressive double leg, and the fight on top. Take all 5.
Literally put this man into next year when you slam him down. That's what we need right now. And this is the unfortunate part that I don't know if you feel the same way that I do. Are you a person that watches the NBA? Do you bet on that at all, Dan?
Not often. I like to watch it when it's the NBA finals are fun to watch. I didn't even watch last night's game because I figured, it's probably not going to end. They're probably going to go to a game 7. I want to watch the game 7. I want to watch the exciting game. So. Yeah.
I was unfortunately watching with civilians yesterday, and I had people walk in kind of saying what you're saying. That's like, man, I really like a close game. I was like, well, I don't. I want this to be a blowout. I want this to be done. I want us to respect the memory of Kobe and his lost child and let us all move on as a nation. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm watching with people that I go, I don't know even if we did win, that this was the right audience to watch it with, because I'm in such a bad mood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any emotional investment to any sport except MMA. I'm a fan of certain fighters, but as far as like other sports go, I just like to see the exciting games. I don't really care who wins.
Dan, That's why to some extent you're a heartless bastard, but you're a heartless bastard working for our dollars. Now,
that's also why I have bet on 14-year-old Russian soccer. So I don't care which one of you kids wins. I don't care who goes on to college. Just my bet needs to hit.
I really had wished for your own kids that you would have been the parent that just organizes and like really tries to smooth it over with, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, what if we bet on the kids? Like, have you guys thought about this?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, how many more people would watch this? Like, how many people come to like a kid's soccer game? Like, nobody. It's miserable. No one scores. It's cold. But if we could bet on that, how many more parents would be out there? All the dads would be out there.
Yo, my dad for a year, I want to say in that in between soccer and baseball, there was nothing happening in the summer. So I like randomly told him one day, I was like, I like bowling. And he was like, all right, cool. We'll take you bowling. My dad hated the element of the bowling alley. So he literally sat there with stats. And he would tell me, he's like, yeah, you're projected to hit a 104 today. And I'd be like, what? And he goes, just don't fuck up. But you're projected to hit a 104. And I was like, are you betting on me? Like, I need to know because you're taking these stats way too seriously. And he was never saying no, but he was always 1,000,000% correct. And I believe, without him having to say it, that is also part of the reason why I calculate this to this day where I go, no, dude, you have a 40% chance of hitting that Kimura.
Yeah,
it's not looking good.
That's the way to go. I mean, your dad just he's proof. Like, your love for your child is not the most important thing. It's the numbers. Like, look at the numbers. Don't bet on the team that you love. Don't bet on the fight that you love. Don't bet on your kid that you love. Bet on the person with the better numbers. So that's kind of it's a good lesson.
Absolutely. We started off very strong in my family like that. We have a decision that I will tell you, Ellie is keeping his hand raised while Kelly is being very composed. 30-27 and 29-28.
And we lost.
Yeah. I mean, Allie, I kind of understood at least the second round was, but yeah, it was a little all over the place. I wouldn't exactly say that was a 30 round, but there you go. All right. Didn't play out our way. So that means, unfortunately, the parlay didn't play out our way. I would tell you this, though, Dan. Can you give us an update on what happened last week?
Last week, I'm about to open that up. I wrote down a bunch of stuff. So
okay.
We had Fry. I thought she was going to land more takedowns in that fight, make it more of a wrestling match. I saw her in round 3, right out of the gate. She landed a takedown pretty effortlessly. And I remember when it happened, I was like, man, why didn't we see that in round 1, round 2? I don't know what the game plan was, or they might have, wanted to keep that in their back pocket for later on. I don't know what it was, but she did lose the fight by unanimous decision. I think, the wrestling wasn't there in rounds 1, round 2. So unfortunately that didn't go our way. And the other ones, other ones did I write about? Imanov, I said, he's got V's in his last name. This guy's going to hit some takedowns. He's guaranteed at least 2. that guy hit probably 4 or 5. I don't know how many it was. It was enough because he beat the shit out of Williams in that fight. And, I had him, $1 on him that he would win by knockout. And he did everything in his power to do that. I mean, Jordan Williams has the chin of a god. He ate some incredible shots that fight. Any mortal man would have been knocked out. The fact that Jordan survived that fight is very impressive, but our $1 bet on the knockout did not hit. Fortunately, our money line bet on Imanov did hit, so we didn't completely walk out of there with everything losing. We lost a total of $10.65 last week, bringing our grand total to $8.67, but we're still up. $8.67, we're still up. Tonight's not over. We still got 2 more fights. We could still end this one doing okay.
And I love the fact that, like, we were talking last week, we're like, we're up, we're looking good. And then there was an immediate chunk of change that I could hear, like a ka-ching sound from a cash register. And I just thought, we're still good. We're still up. So we are still a profitable venture here, kids.
Yeah, still doing. And I hit a 5-fight parlay last week. I mean, I'm sorry, the bets I posted on the podcast didn't end up working out, but my parlay did. So that was fun.
While I'm very significantly happy for you as a friend, I'm going to use the same cold-hearted calculation that my dad would tell me, which is that didn't do shit for me, son. Yeah. So I just want you to know And I think it's what you respect from people to do the same to you, which is that you would do to them. So I think it is important that I don't just, say like, oh, wow, that's really great. I'm so proud of you. It's like, well, Dan, I want to make our fans and friends some money here because they matter to us. And obviously we've got these next 2 weeks. So I do know that the Khabib fight is going to be super early in the goddamn morning. So we're going to have it early. It's going to be like an afternoon pay-per-view. I think it's almost like 3 p.m. So I am going to be on the lookout. I apologize. I take the brunt of the blame on this one for not double checking my sources.
I forgive you.
Thank you. It's such a relief on my side. Do you have any fight that you're looking forward to tonight? Were you looking at it? Because I know there's some that just don't make it a bet sense, but is there one that you're looking at that you say, I'm looking at that?
There's a bunch of them that make betting sense, I think. Impa is the one I'm kind of staying away from just because of the line. Zalal, I think he's a pretty decent bet right there. Zalal minus 165. I think that's a pretty good value. I think he's overperformed and outperformed a lot of people's expectations so far. He's fighting, a young, debuting, undefeated up-and-comer. But again, this is another fight where Zalal will be the most experienced fighter he's ever fought. The fighter with the most wins that he's ever fought, and this might just be too much too soon. So to get Zalal at minus 165, I think that makes sense. I'm going to be taking that bet myself. Moving on to the big guys, Tom Aspinall minus 680. That's just too damn much. I can't take it. He's probably going to win that fight. Probably going to win it pretty quickly, but minus 680, I'll pass on that. Marcus Maluco Perez, plus 140. Don't know if I want to take that. His opponent's making his debut. You throw in there that his opponents fought on the South African regional scene, which is not, the most competitive. But his opponent looks kind of like a stud. And Marcus is kind of all over the place when he fights. And he's an opportunistic grappler. He could probably catch something in a transition, but I would want better odds than plus 140 to put a wager on Perez. So I'm going to kind of pass on that too. Ben Rothwell minus 130. I think that's worth betting. I think Tybura has this plodding, weird, low output style. I don't think he's very fast. I think Rothwell is going to be able to make this into kind of a grind. So at minus 130, I don't see Tybura knocking him out. I don't see him submitting him. So I don't see how many paths to victory Tybura really has. So Rothwell minus 130, I'm taking that. In the last two fights, we got Mr. Finland, Amirkhani. I like that guy a lot. He's plus 200. I don't know if I love him in the fight against Barboza, but that's a fight I'm going to be watching, live. And depending on who wins that first round, I might take some action. I would like to bet on Amirkhani, but I'd like to see him in that first round and kind of see how he deals with Barboza's leg kicking game. If he's able to implement any, grappling scrambles, because I think that's going to be kind of his path to victory. So after that first round, I'll kind of see how things go and maybe make a wager on Amirkhani. For the main event, Sandhagen versus Maurice, I have Sandhagen. He's minus 135. I think that line should probably be flipped around. I think Maurice should be the favorite in this fight based on recent history, but Sandhagen as a slight favorite. I like Sandhagen. I don't want to bet that minus 135. So it'll be another fight where I kind of watch that first round, see how things go. I think Marlon is most dangerous in the first 5 minutes. So after that's over, if Sandhagen's chin looks like it's holding up, if it looks like he's, implementing some of his game plan, then, I'll look at whatever the live line is and maybe make a bet on Sandhagen going into round two. But, just like the Amirkhani fight, I kind of want to see how things go first.
Understood. Well, sir, I believe you have graced us with your presence in a way that we truly appreciate. I want to give you the opportunity to see this fight, especially considering you do have some vested interest in it, even if you couldn't compel yourself to necessarily encourage our friends here to bet on it. But this is Buckley, already...
Buckley's dangerous with his volume, man. That guy throws. Like he's built like someone who's would exhaust themselves in 30 seconds of throwing bombs, but he can throw them the entire fight, which is very scary.
I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm already nervous. And that was just the first flurry that we just saw right there. I was like about to kick you off, and then all of a sudden I was like, hold on, business might pick up. Let's give him another minute here before we start to.
Yeah, and let's not, and we can't forget that Impa's, a fairly new fighter. He's in the UFC 2 years after his professional debut. He hasn't been at this game for a long time. He's basically learning on the job. So even if he was to lose this fight, it wouldn't be anything worth writing him off. I think he's developing, and he's gonna have some losses that catch him by surprise, fights that he probably could have won. But definitely going to be an exciting fight.
Well, Dan, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Next week, I will look at the times a little bit better. I don't promise that we will, if they are starting to pepper us to get ready for that date. I'm not exactly sure what time we will go because, a little fun things happen for me in the morning, which is I get to go train in the mornings. So we'll figure out how we're going to do this for next week and the following week because those are going to be earlier times. But
I could tell you who I'm picking in the main event.
Well,
Korean Zombie is going to fucking take that fight. Korean Zombie's got the main event for sure. That's my bet for the main event. I don't care what the weigh-ins look like. I don't care what the week leading up to, I don't care who catches COVID in the week leading up to that fight. We're taking Korean Zombie in that fight.
Is there any other particular reason that we should do that has some merit of science as to why you're picking Korean Zombie in that fight?
Did you see The Tax Collector? Brian Ortega was fucking terrible in that fight. In that movie. I mean, I know that movie was terrible all around, but I'm still angry at Brian Ortega just for being a part of that movie. It was just a waste of my evening, and I hope his evening is terrible next Saturday.
I can't believe that is the actual rationale that you are giving on it, but I don't hate it. So here's what we'll do. We'll go and adjourn. Let's put a bookmark in this episode. Dan, I appreciate you, your time, your investments, your guidance, as always, mega appreciated here. Though I would like to point out one thing. I wouldn't tell you this off air because I feel like this is the type of thing I would actually message you about in private. But I just want to let you know I was right on William Tackett. And
you were. But I also threw out there that on those bets on the Submission Underground, you just throw $20 on every underdog and hope something sticks. So yeah, I'm not super invested in any of those.
I just wanted to let you know that we were talking about, and I had the opportunity to ask him. I said, "Do you look at the betting lines?" And I know the answer is 100% because if you and I fought, we would look at those lines. And we would probably chuckle. So I don't
figure out a way to rig it, of course.
100%. I have no issue with that either. But when the kid was asked that, I go, "Do you look at the betting lines?" He was very quietly being like, yeah. And I go, "Okay, well, you do know that I was trying to suggest people to take the line on you." And he goes, "Wow, that's really cool. Thank you, Mr. Esparza. That was, man, that means a lot." And I was like, "Actually, I like that you think that this is endearing, but it's really just me taking a victory lap for myself rather than saying you're good." So I don't know how much credit I deserve on being a nice person rather than a cold, calculated person that thought, "Oh no, he'll win." So
yeah, because that would be a totally different conversation if he lost and you bet on him.
I know.
You fucking bummed. You know what I told people? I told people to bet on you.
And I even told him, I was like, bro, I was so mad because we started a new setup that night that will be premiering as we roll out new episodes sooner than later. But I told him, I go, "Dude, I started my setup so late that I didn't even have the time to go put money down on him because I was so ready to do it." And then all of a sudden I see it happen. I go, "Well, at least I can tell Dan. I don't have money to prove it, but at least I can tell Dan." You know what?
Yeah, you got the evidence.
I got that. I have the screenshots that I need in case we need verification, but we're not going to ask for verification. We're going to say, "Thank you very much, Dan Hubler. We appreciate your time. We will see you back next week, sir."
All right, take care. Bye.
Have a great one. All right, Dan Hubler has graced us with his presence, which means now it's time to continue doing the thing. You guys can see the microphone now. I kind of was moving it around, so I don't know. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I have a microphone to be used somewhere. But that was a very first fun round that we are witnessing right now. I'm going to go ahead and put up some names so that you guys can get it. But we are in the Impa and Joaquin fight, a.k.a. Senegay and Buckley. is where we're at right now. My name is Rafa Sparza. I host many shows. Too many, some might say. Some people being my wife. But we are here doing a fight companion with you here all night. We're doing the prelims first, then we'll do a separate show for the main card. But we are going to make sure that we implement you guys as part of the show. So feel free to throw your questions at us, your comments, your concerns. If you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will give you a toast, just like we give those fighters who get finishes within regulation. And unfortunately tonight, there has been 0 finishes. All decisions, but from what I heard on the very beginning fights, not bad. Pretty good start to the evening. So, yeah, pluses and minuses here, kids. We now go to the second of 3 rounds. Impa looked good, and Kevin Ioli is saying that he gave the first to Buckley. So he said he was dominant early. So that's an interesting perspective. Meanwhile, Scott Fontana also agrees 10-9 for Buckley. It is 4:17 left on my clock. As we continue to watch these two gents put on what has already been a pretty exciting fight. So both of them very nicely there. You will see Buckley over in the darker trunks, the black, and then blue for Impa right there. Impa also, you can tell he is who he is by his mohawk, which is very, very prominently displayed here throughout this evening. That's a very, very cool. Like if somebody has that haircut, you know they're a fighter. You don't need too much verification. Nice kick there by Buckley. Buckley is also out to make a statement here tonight. Impa timed that nicely. I couldn't see if he fully connected on that kick, but it looked very nice as he was able to slip right after that as well. Anyway, throw me questions. Buckley is on a flurry right now. Impa looks like he gathers his composure back. Now the two of them are trying to feint each other a little bit. See if they can maybe time their opponent and maybe stick and move at this point, because I think at this juncture, you've kind of felt the power of the other. And although they seem to keep moving forward, no! No, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen. No! Wow. Okay, let's talk about that. Holy shit. Oh my God. So, how do I describe this to you? Other than Buckley gets his leg caught from a kick. Then, with the foot still trapped, jumps and does a spinning back kick with the other leg. Connects, and it puts Impa down. Let's look at the replay of this. I want every moment of this. Catches the kick on the edge and then spins a background and he falls like a Mortal Kombat character after you've said finish him and you maybe press the button at it. I think that rocked his bell so bad. I cannot stop talking about this headlight. Wow. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna put myself on Facebook right now. That's how good this is. Holy shit, everybody. If you haven't seen it right now, stop what you're doing. Go watch Buckley's wait, I want to make sure. Yeah, Buckley. Okay. Let's get this right. Holy shit, right? Holy shit. If you are watching this right now, stop. Wait for ESPN to put up the Buckley highlight where he gets the sickest kick that gets caught and then turns into another spinning back kick that I think I've ever seen. It's my favorite thing of the night. I think it'll be your favorite thing. It should be trending all over the place. It is phenomenal. Also, come join us at Grappling Hour on all major properties, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. We'll see you guys. Wow, that was intense. I'm seeing a lot of comments on the Twitter sphere that just are saying, oh, wow. There's no other words to say that. This is where we are. This is what we are experiencing from watching that second spinning back kick. My brain is just blown from that opportunity to see that. Wow. Well, Joffrey, I know that Dan said that he liked Impa. We all liked Impa. That was ridiculous. Wow. Wow. Well, kids, if we're not going to talk to him in the cage, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Buckley is solo on this one, so they're attending to Impa. I hope he is okay. I can only imagine they're going to do an interview right now. So let's give you a synopsis of what they're saying. Okay, Dan is in there, so we're good. Dan was asking, are you trying to take all of the fight bonuses? So they were asking, is that something you drill? Dan is asking him, is that something that you're used to doing? And he says, yeah, absolutely. We drill that one all the time. All right, I want ESPN to put this one up immediately, kids. Ooh, it's the best. Yeah, I'm already pissed that they have not put this up on ESPN yet. That was so good. Oh my God. Yeah. And there's a big celebration going on in the octagon, as there should be. Give that man $100,000. Give him everything. This is the toast that we're doing right now to that. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. All right. I'm going to share this first, and then we'll do a proper toast to that gentleman. Wow. Yep. Kick. Catches it on the end. Spinning. And just, oh, it's so good because you see the lights turn off too. And then when he does the stagger around. Oh, man. I guess we're going to look at the other side of it. And, yep. Oof. Well, what do you say after a moment like that? I almost feel like we go straight live in a second, but on our Instagram, which is, I think, the plan. We're just waiting on a couple things. First, we want to make sure that we properly share this on all the main proper channels that we got. So we're going to take care of that in just a second. But then we're going to take your questions, your comments, your concerns. Hopefully you're watching along with us and having some fun. This is another fight that Dan told us to get a betting line in on, and that is one Nascimento is a favorite in Dan eyes. Good Lord. That was the best thing I've seen in some time. I got to share this right now. Watching UFC Fight Island. Good Lord. 5. Join in. I still can't believe that. So we're going to do the toast. Here we go. Yo, this toast goes out to one Joaquin Buckley for the most insane knockout I have seen this entire year. I don't even know if it qualifies for the decade yet because we just started one. But my God, that was dope. It left me speechless on the show. I think we had a full minute of silence of just being in shock and awe. I put my glass down again. You're not supposed to do that when you cheers. I'm breaking all the rules. I'm just telling you this. Joaquin Buckley, we would love to do an interview with you. Cheers to you, good sir. This toast is not only respective of your fight, but man, that fucking knockout. Cheers to you. Wow. Oh, I can't believe that shit. That was great. All right. Well, we're in the process of seeing some friends give us some likes and some shares. We love you guys. My thanks to Joffrey. My thanks to, let's see who else, Christopher and John Woods. As a reminder, if you give us a like and a share, we give you a toast just like we did for Joaquin Buckley, who, man, he made our night. I'm so glad that we were here to cover that fight. We have 2 more fights left before we start rebrand the whole thing and bring it to terms for the rest of the evening. But Jesus, oof, my own heart stopped on that one. And they are, excuse me, they're already in the octagon right now. All right. Well, oof, I like, there's nothing to say that is more important than what we just saw. All right. They're walking out with Chris right now. So I'm just going to do a couple little checks and balances. I think we might just do one broadcast tonight. I think we'll be able to fit it all in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to stop per se, but we'll figure that out as we get to the end of this next hour. Because we don't want to keep this party stopped. We want to keep going. It has already been a fantastic evening. And I'm very glad that you guys are here to join us. We'll do some play-by-play for this one, but the last one, man, I really want to go back and watch the tape of me trying to do play-by-play on that because I think I stopped. I think I actually just took a moment, halted my words, tried to absorb what I was seeing, and Joaquin Buckley just took Impa into another dimension, and all we could do was just have our mouth agape and watch and appreciate, and it was mwah, chef's kiss. Oof. Anyway. All right. Chris is in the cage. Let's put the proper banner up for this one because we haven't done that throughout the evening. So here you go, kids. Nope, that's not the right one. Chris Dawkins, or Dawkins, yes, versus Rodrigo Nascimento. The weight difference here, 265 versus 227. Ugh. That is not a weight class anybody wants to be a part of, man. I'm waiting to see if ESPN's put it up. I don't see any part of it. Not yet. They got to get on their shit. So, Rodrigo Nascimento, with arms open, enjoying the moment, taking it all in, living his dream, everybody, fighting in the UFC. All right, let's talk a little bit about this fight. We're going to walk you through it. Coming up next is going to be one Tom Breeze and KB Ballard. And that's going to be a fun one as well. Chris Dawkins fighting out of Philadelphia, 6'3", 227, 9-3, and he is the current underdog of this fight. So that is partially on the reason why Dan Hubler was earlier this evening telling us to kind of keep an eye on it. Let me move out the branding here for a split second. And he was saying bet $750 to win $3 on this one, just because he feels strongly about it. Potentially because of Chris Dawkins' fight stylist composure, but more so just because he liked the line for one Nascimento. And we begin the fight right now. Let's start this off well, kids. You know, already Chris Dawkins is off to a good start, starting to exchange some hands very quickly, kind of rushing in a little bit on Nascimento, who slips out. And no, Nascimento is down. He has taken a heavy hit. He's gone to a regard out of instinct, but he looked a little on Dream Street. The referee very kindly allowing him to be here. Dawkins trying to fight from in guard on just bringing down punches. Nascimento pulling down on the head. Does not get the opportunity to pull him down all the way. Now, Dawkins has kind of essentially passed guard. Now, Nascimento stands back up and falls down like a brick. Yikes. Chris Dawkins making a huge statement right then and there. Unfortunately, not good for us here on the show, but Nascimento holding his head. Rightfully so. We're going to have another bet here that we're going to have to talk with Dan about next week. But at the very least, let us hope that, one, Maschermento is okay, man. Good call for the underdog, though, on that one. I'd like to see a little bit more. So this first one, yes, right on the chin. Nice done with that left hand. Then once he's in the guard, he starts having to put up some breaks. This is where things start to get dicey as Maschermento gets up and he finds a 1-2. It is a hook that puts him down right off of that cage. Yeah. That's a statement. Well, Philly is feeling great tonight, so congratulations to Chris Dawkins. We will be back with a little bit. Well, we're not going anywhere, but we'll be back when they're back with his post-fight in a few minutes. Until then, we'll give him a cheers in a moment, but I do want to hear what he has to say about that one before we go and give him any toasts. But if you guys give us a like and a share, we give you a toast. That's how easy it works. So we're going to be coming up on Tom Breeze quicker than I thought, which means they're going to be filling in time, which means so are we. But that is supposed to reset at the top of the hour. Meanwhile, on the main card tonight, we have 6 fights. Yusuf Zalal and Ilia Topuria starting us off. Tom Aspinall versus Alan Badeau. Then Marcus Perez, Dricus versus Duplessis. And then Ben Rothwell, Marcin Tybura, Edson Barboza, Marquand Akmari, Amir Khani, thank you, then Marlon Maurice and Corey Sanhagen at the top of the card. Meanwhile, boxing is letting us know they got some shit going on too. Lomanchenko versus Lopez, that is happening on October 17th, which, if memory serves me correct, is next Saturday. ESPN, are you there, fam? Waiting to see if it's going to happen. I want them to already put that shit up like yesterday. That's how impressive that was. So let's see it. ESPN, do you have it up? Yeah. No, they do not. They have the end of the last fight, not this one. Actually, the last 2 fights ago. Chris Dawkins is about to get interviewed. He goes over to Maschermento, gives him some props. They go their different ways. Dan is asking, what does it feel like to be a long way from home? Dawkins says he didn't expect him to come out southpaw in this fight. He was just about to curse to say, if you come out southpaw on me, you're essentially asking for trouble. Almost dropped the F-bomb, caught himself. So you're going to ask him to do a replay narration? Ew. Nice jab. The jab is so powerful right there, dude. And he's mentioning that he just needs to stay calm, stay composed, stay collected. Dan's saying you're a small guy in the heavyweight category. He says they throw bombs, but you guys stay technical and stay tight, which, hey, good message to put out to the kids there. All right, kids, give us a like and a share. We're going to give you a toast just like we're about to do for Chris Dawkins right about now. It says he's excited to go back home, see his wife, see his kid. And he says whenever the UFC wants back in, so does he. What a fight, man. Oof. And he blows a kiss to the camera, so that's enough time for us to quickly transition over this way. All right. This toast goes out to Chris Dawkins. Chris, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know if it was just that initial jab that really caught our attention. I don't know if it was that hook that made us fall in love with you, but for what it's worth, your ability to stay composed, stay on target, stay just ready, dude. Like your ability to just get that knockout and give us a very memorable fight there, man. Cheers to you. Congrats, man. So happy you were able to come out. They put you down as an underdog, but you proved here tonight you were not an underdog. So congrats to you, bud. Woo. That was fucking intense. We have had 2 intense back-to-back moments here on the show. I don't know what other way to put it to you guys. I was very impressed with both of those performances. We had two just stellar moments from Buckley and Dawkins, who made quick work of both of their opponents respectively. Obviously, Buckley was able to do it in the second round, but Chris Dawkins didn't even waste any goddamn time. Jumping, spinning, back kick. That is the way that they have put it on the Wikipedia page for Chris Dawkins. The fight before him, I'm apologizing, Joaquin Buckley. They put that branding for his fight, which accurate and insane to see live. I'm going to love that footage forever. What a day. This has been a fantastic day thus far. I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing. I hope that you guys are too. I love when you guys give us comments and keep us posted of what you're watching, what you're enjoying, what you're feeling. It is important to us. So let us know. It's very interesting to see what is coming up next. It will be Tom Breeze versus KB Ballard or Bueller, depending on how you like to pronounce it. I thought that Dan Hubler might have a way to pronounce it. He did not. So we're just kind of going to go with what our gut is. And Tom Breeze sounds just good enough. Since they have time to kill, they're pumping out content, video packages to share of their main event, which is a nice way of reminding us, oh, yeah, there were some very quick turnarounds on these fights that we have some time that we need to make sure that we burn on our stage. So, since we have some time, let's give some love to our sponsors. If you guys like us, it's entirely possible you like our friends over at Nogi BJJ Gear. If you don't, I mean, that's fine. Just know that they support us. And, you know, that's important to us. Also, if you want to give some love to them, go over to nogibjjgear.com. Use the promotional code GRAPPLINGHOUR15 to save 15% off of whatever you put in your cart. And then also keep in mind, kids, I just want to remind you, we also love our friends over at Dodgy Collective. They are some of the nicest human beings with some of the best artwork. Their spats, their shorts, their rash guards, such great stuff. And they actually designed the main graphic for our upcoming Grappling Hour mixtape, which we'll talk more about later. But just so that you know, it's kind of like what we've got in the pipeline of things that are coming sooner than later. So that is the excitement that we have for y'all. And I mean, it's just a fucking crazy day, kids. We're just trying to keep things steady and exciting as there's a lot more fights to go. We still have 7 more fights this evening. We have seen 2 back-to-back amazing moments. We did lose some money on that one if we were betting on Dan's line. It comes with the territory. You take your wins and your hard losses here, kids. I know it's a tough one to go ahead and watch. I'm looking to see if the Buckley, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Oh my God. Let me see. This was the coolest shit. Coolest KO I've seen this year. I'm just going to put this up for everybody on our Instagram so they can kind of get why we were so geeked out on it. But, like, it's with good reason here, kids. All right. We'll also do some reminders this week. I don't know if you guys heard it a little bit earlier in the show, but if you want to give us some love and check out our most recent episode, which was Gio Martinez, William Tackett, Cody Steele, Aaron Teagues, and Andy Night Varela. Monster episode, monster season premiere. We want to give you guys nothing but the best content there is out there. So my appreciation for those of you who have already tuned in and sent in beautifully nice notes. But we are starting the 2020 fall season premiere of Grappling Hour very strong. So is it bad that I like this whole like K-pop one that they put out? I like that one. Those Korean kids. That's a good song. I don't know what it's about. I think it's about like strawberries or something. Whatever. It's just too fucking upbeat and poppy, and I'm powerless to it. So now that they're putting in all the commercials, it's highly likely it's just going to be drilled into my head. But I think it's called Dynamite. That's the one, right? Yeah, that's pretty good one. All right, likes and shares. Give you guys cheers throughout the evening. At the top of the hour, I believe we are going to be going live on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes, on the Periscope, and yes, on the Instagram. So we will be doing that this evening. Super stoked for it. Hope you guys are as well. Again, happy to take your comments, questions, concerns, hints, allegations, all of your good jazz that you got from me. Hopefully they're already starting to walk it out, but they have a little bit of time to fill. So it's a good opportunity to go ahead and give those healthy reminders to y'all. We gonna be here for a while. Anyway, what other things should we talk about here this afternoon as we are waiting for the next and final preliminary bout to take place between Tom Breeze and KB Ballard? Let's also tell you guys what's going on Verbal Tap. Kevin's about to go get married, so we're going to do like one more episode. And I think what we're going to do for Over Under Kevin is we are going to open up 2 guest slots. And we're going to have those 2 guests go against each other, and I'll moderate that. So if you guys have an idea of who we should book for that, maybe some fans that you like from the show, let us know, and we will be happy to book those folks because that's supposed to be a monster show. And that is kind of what I would encourage y'all to keep a lookout for. As well, this week, we just interviewed Sarah Drott from Yoga for BJJ. Very, very cool interview. I think you guys will like it. And it's on our YouTube page. And we actually did that one live that we put up on our YouTube page for verbaltabcast.com. So keep an eye on that if you haven't checked that one out as well. She has a great story about how she was able to use Yoga for BJJ in her ability to, make a name for herself in the MMA and jiu-jitsu world. And I think that she found that MMA was fun, but that the jiu-jitsu was not only better with Yoga for BJJ, but that it was actually also enhanced. So, them's the notes. Them's the good news for me to give you guys as we are waiting for this next fight to come on in. Oof. What a day as they go through some of Barboza's greatest hits right now. Barboza is dangerous, dude. Those leg kicks, yikes. No, thank you. And he's been around for such a long time as well. Oh, God. Yeah, I remember these. Oh, God, all of these knockouts in these fights. Thank God we get to see this tonight. Edson Barboza, man, what a day. And he not only does start off fast, but he is on a 3-fight losing streak. But look at the names he's lost to. Justin Gaethje, Paul Felder, and Dan Ige. Before that, Kevin Lee, Khabib. And then even before that, Tony Ferguson, Michael Johnson, Donald Cerrone, Jamie Varner. Like, the names that he has as losses are some of the people that we regard as just monsters in this realm. Tom Breeze being pulled in as not enough respect on his name, as one Dan Hubler is saying, but he is coming up next in just a few seconds. They're going to take a break, and then they'll return with his fight against KB Ballard, who does have a certain kind of strong facial hair, I would say, here right now. It was very nice of Dan to remind us tonight that, yes, Tom Breeze is one of the gents who fought in one of the Nawazas over in England, which was insane when I saw that happen. They were like, oh, yeah, we're doing a Nawaza challenge over in England. And I was like, cool, because the last one was here in, like, Burbank. So we made it, mama. We did it. And they're like, are you doing that one? No, that is too far. If they fly me out there, yeah, I'll do it. But I do not believe they were going to bust out the flight airfare for me, though I would have gladly taken it. All right, kids, great stuff happening all around. I'm so glad that I'm seeing now my friends take their moments to basically go off of the fight clip that I put up. That's how you know these are my true friends, because all of them are putting up the clip that I told them to put up. God damn. What a moment. Okay, Kaylee Ballard, the Canadian, is about to make his way in. He is a undefeated fighter, also with a UFC debut. Now, this is where I think Dan was trying to say that he might have a padded resume. We'll find out here tonight, at least for the UFC. He has 6 first-round finishes, and 4 of those wins come via knockout. Meanwhile, Tom Breeze about to make his way in just a moment. It'll be very interesting to see how they kind of match up. And just looking at the body of this kid, Ballard also has a very lanky body, like his good posture, good stance so far. All right, let's see what this kid has to offer here tonight. All right, Tom Breeze walks out with all of the confidence in the world. I am interested to know how many people are in attendance at these things, though. I don't think we are really getting those numbers or information presented to us, but there you have it there, kids. All right. Interestingly enough, Tom Breeze, 10 of 11 wins, were finished, 4 knockouts, 6 submissions, 7 first-round finishes, and he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, is what the greatest hits read. So, dude, I mean, if we're talking about the posture and then kind of the way that KB was walking in on this one, you can't ignore the way that Tom Breeze has a very, very nice posture to himself as well. So, dude is super cut right now, so kudos to him. It'd be very interesting to see how their journeys go and intersect as they do the introductions here, and very excited about that. Tail of the tape tells us both very tall individuals, 6'3" versus 6'4", 186 on the dot for both of them, but the reach is going to be an advantage for KB, who has a 78 reach against 73.5 for one. Oh, that's right. KB Ballard, thank you very much for that reminder, Senor Ben folks. And it says that KB Ballard was saying that his mom destroyed the tape of Jurassic Park. So, yeah, no, Ben folks is saying, listen, this has a high stakes fight for me because of that Jurassic Park story. I relate to that as well. Good for you, Ben folks. All right. And they're just about to finish here. I believe we are about to get started on this fight, and I'm excited to see how it is going to unfold for us. My thanks to you for tuning in. My name is Rafa Esparza. I'm very stoked for this fight. After this fight, we're going to take a short little break, and then we will regroup for the main broadcast. For the main broadcast, we have 6 fights, and I think it's going to be action-packed. So hopefully you guys are excited as well. This referee, Lucas, looks a little depressed. Hope he's okay, man. Let's check in on him a little bit later. I do like this. So you have people with good first-round fight finishes on their resumes. So it'll be interesting to see what KB does in the first round, and if Tom Breeze's ability to get, nice connection right there. Ballard starts it with an initiated punch, but Breeze is already starting to connect on the chin a few times here. Breeze is not falling for this lackadaisical movement from Ballard. Ballard's almost kind of lulling him into a little bit of false sense of fighting. I mean, look at how his hands are down, the language on his body. We were talking about that a little bit earlier in terms of his posture, but this is a very pronounced, listen, dude, my hands are very down. Well, Breeze is not taking any of this bait right now. Breeze continuously able to find the angles that he needs to here, switches around, goes for a kick, loses his balance, but stays on his feet. Now a charge from Ballard that doesn't go anywhere necessarily, comes in with a kick to the outside that is immediately checked by Tom Breeze. Very nice work over here. Tom kind of feints something in, does not really make a move on it. Ballard returns with a kick over to the outside leg again. Again, nothing too crazy out of the ordinary here. I do like Breeze's composure. Comes across the chin on a couple of these with a left overhand there for a split second. Now you're going to see, oof, I can't watch people like grab a kick and hold on to it after what we saw Buckley do earlier tonight. So this is a very confusing element to watch people get their kicks mid-level and still not get spinning back KO like a Mortal Kombat character. And Breeze is right on the chin on him. And look at this. Breeze is going to get the finish with a series of hammer fists. And you do see KB Ballard looking a little dazed as to what the fuck just happened to him. Breeze with the composure. I want to say that was off a jab, but I have to look back at the footage here. Holy fuck. Let's look at it all over again right now. Oh, no, that is what my friends. Ooh, 2 lefts. I thought it was a jab, so it is just kind of a bink. That motherfucker's right jab just did that shit. Bink. Yep. Ooh. All right. Let's talk about a few things on this. I'm not going to pretend like I know a ton of things. I am primarily a grappler, but I'm taking some striking lessons now. I'm learning a little bit. I was not a huge fan of KB's stance and just watching how low his hands were the entire time. And Tom Breeze continuously finding the angles early on in the very beginning of this fight in a way where he was saying, hey, listen, dude, you keep those hands that low, I'm going to be able to connect on that chin multiple times for a jab, a right jab. Not to disrespect Tom Breeze's power in his hands, but for that to do that much impact, where KB was very dazed to the point where Breeze said, hey, listen, I have all the time in the world to come on top and finish this one on out. We'll do a cheers in just a moment, but you are getting Dan talking with Tom. Tom starts off by saying he has dedicated this life of his to this game known as MMA. Let's have a look at those screens because I want you to talk me through this. So, oof. Yeah, he was right. He said his jab was landing pretty consistently throughout the fight. He said that he didn't feel like his opponent had any power to really phase him. And it does seem to indicate that he was supposed to fight on the card last week, but things changed. New opponent. Not much tape on this opponent, but that he felt he just believed in his training, and that's all he's going to come in with. So I think he was saying, hey, listen, you know, you got some middleweights on this card, and you can see him back in the cage at any time in the near future. Well, here's what we're going to do here, kids. We're going to take a short little siesta, a little break. Then we're going to come back for the main card at the top of the hour. So don't go anywhere. Don't go too far. We're going to be back in about 18 minutes. And I think it's going to be an interesting evening of fights. You're not going to want to miss what we've got going on for the rest of the evening because, yes, the top of the live fights this evening are going to be one, Marlon Maurice versus Corey Sandhagen. And, of course, Edson Barboza versus Marquand Amirkhani, and that is going to be super dope. So we will see you guys back in a little bit. We'll be doing this at Grappling Hour on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and on the Instagram. So on any of those channels, get yourself some food, get yourself right, and come back and see us in a few minutes. My name is Rafa Esparza. Don't go too far. We'll see you guys back in a bit.